you don't have to beat yourself into the freaking ground every single day. Monday morning, nothing to it but to do it. Just got to get outside. Now we're doing broken miles, so we're going 3/4 mile at about 6:10 pace, and then 2-minute rest, then 1/4 mile at 5:50 pace, and then 60 seconds rest by 4. So 4 total miles, but with rest, kind of splitting it up a little bit. And yeah, I am tired as usual. Starting off the week tired. No surprises there, I think, from anyone. But anyway, put an Ask Me Anything on my Instagram story last night, just for to see what kind of topics you guys would want me to cover. And for the most part, it was just your general running shoe stuff. Like, people want to know my running shoe rotation and everything like that. I'll be honest, I don't have one. And the reason why I don't have one is because I prioritize what I need to review. But if I was to have a running shoe rotation, I think a good place to start would just be kind of a 3-shoe rotation. So the way that I look at it, and it comes down to personal preferences, but the way that I would look at it is I would want 1 shoe for daily miles. And I really like an up-tempo, lightweight style trainer for that, because I prefer to have something light on foot. That would be number 1. That would be the shoe that if I'm feeling good, even on a recovery run day, that's the kind of shoe I could wear. It's the kind of shoe that if I need to take with me somewhere, I'm going on a trip, that covers a lot of bases. I could do some short, fast speed work in it probably. I could do some tempo in it, right? So we're thinking this is like your Evo SL, your Rebel V5, your Hyperion 3, your Maverick V1 runner, right? And then I would have something that is maybe not traditional max cushion, maybe not traditional recovery, but something that is soft and bouncy. And this will be for the days that my legs are kind of destroyed. I want some bounce, I want some pace assistance, I want some cushion. So not quite recovery shoes. So we're not talking like Gel Nimbus, we're talking Neo Zen, Aeroglide type shoe, right? So those are probably one of the two that I would look at. So the Neo Zen or the Aeroglide, Salomon Aeroglide 3, right? So those are 2. And then the 3rd shoe I would have would be a speed-oriented shoe. Now, speed-oriented could be a lot of different things, but I would say, honestly, just having a super shoe that, something fast like the R3. And the reasoning for that is because I could do my fast workouts in this shoe, my interval sessions, my track sessions. I could also potentially do long run workouts in this shoe, right? And then the kind of bouncy cushion shoe could also be my easier long run shoe. So I think with a 3-shoe rotation, you're probably fine. Frankly, you could do 2. You could just have like an easy overall shoe. I would probably go with your light or your bouncy cushion shoe, so like a Neo Zen or an Aeroglide 3, and then a fast shoe, right? So like 99% of your running is in the bouncy shoe, and then you have the fast shoe for track sessions and race simulations or long run workouts, right? So you could do 2 shoe, or you could just do 1 shoe. And if you're going just 1 shoe, I would go lightweight trainer, so the Evo SL type, the Rebel V5 type. Those are going to be good for almost everything, and so Mega Blast fits in there. So those are going to be the shoes that you're really going to be able to just cover all your bases, not feel slow, still have cushion, but obviously when you're going through 1 shoe, those will run out faster. So Prototype Pure, so this is, I still think it's a 5K shoe, which is not a bad thing. Incredibly nimble, incredibly bouncy. Some really good pop off the ground, and great for interval sessions. I think these could have done well on the track for my 5K time trial as well. I'll be honest, it took too long, so instead of a 2-mile warm-up, we just did about
1 1/4. We just got to get into it. It's not perfect. It is what it is. So, jeez, I'm gonna hurt myself just trying to get my pants off. But yeah, it's just, this is the reality. I need to be quicker to get ready and get out there, but I'm just slow moving in the morning, and it is what it is. It's about 40 degrees tonight, this morning. It's about 40 degrees this morning, so that's not super cold, but expected it to be colder, so we're shedding layers. I was already planning on shedding the pants, but I didn't think I would be shedding the top, to be honest. All right, warm up done. Just gonna walk to the end of the street because we got some rest. Then we'll hit it. All right, 3 down. My breathing is definitely hard, so I'm starting to feel it. The legs are waking up though, so it's kind of the opposite. The systems are struggling, the legs are starting to pick. So, whew. But 1 more mile, and that's the reps, and we'll hit a cool down. Feeling it. All right, I'm gonna be honest. I just got my butt kicked by that workout. I had to cut my warm-up short, and then I also cut my cool down short just because I just took too long to get outside, laid in bed a little bit too long on the way for this morning, and so I ran out of time, which is life. It's hard. It's hard. We're at the age where the kids, they fight us to go to bed, and then they'll stay awake. If I don't check on them frequently to make sure that they're going to bed, they'll stay awake, and then the next day they're all grumpy from like a lack of sleep, and you know, we want them to be focused at school and everything and all that. So just at that age where you kind of almost have to sit in their rooms until they fall asleep. Otherwise you go back in 20 times to check on them and make sure that they're going to bed. My daughter, and it's not a bad thing, but she's learning to read right now, and she was up till like 10:30 last night, and I kept going in there, and she kept sneaking books into her bed so that she could read, which I love that she's reading. I think that's great, but it's like, if I can't trust that they're gonna fall asleep, it's really hard for me to go to sleep. So on top of that, my youngest, we've just put her in a day bed as opposed to her crib, and she is not adjusting well to it. So then my wife is laying on her floor. We literally put a mattress in there, because if my wife doesn't lay in there, my daughter will scream. So that's been rough, because I'm fighting the older two, my wife is fighting the younger one, and no one is winning. No one is winning at all. So I talked about this last week, it's a phase of life that we're going to look back on probably fondly, and frankly probably because we won't remember how tired we were all the time. So it's a balancing act. Someone asked me, how do you stay consistent? And it's just, to be honest, I'm going to feel tired anyway, no matter what, right? Like, that's just kind of the reality of a parent. I'm going to be tired anyway, so if I'm going to be tired anyway, I might as well be tired and fit. It's kind of how I see it. So anyway, all right, gotta finish getting this kid some breakfast and lunch. Let's go. All right, so I am working. I've got my lift and my run in already today. I'm at home now, but I just wanted to show, I've got the boot and a TENS unit, which basically like shocks my legs. It's one of those, like, it makes your muscles contract, right? And, you know, I used to go to a PT multiple times a week just for pure recovery stuff, and just financially for a second there, and also
Just time wise, I just don't have the time to do that with my current job. It's just a little busier than it was before. And so, but I used to do deep tissue massage, like fascia release and stuff like that. Sometimes some dry needling as well, depending on what was going on. And then I would use the boots. We called this the shock and squeeze, right? So Justin, my guy, shout out Justin over at Athlicare. He's a good friend, and he took care of me. And then I would sit in these boots and I would work for 30 minutes to an hour on my computer, just getting other work done. And you know, one of the things that Justin said to me stuck with me when it comes to recovery. So someone was asking about these boots, and that's why I'm bringing this up. Something that Justin talked to me about with recovery stuck with me, which was that things like cupping. You see, cupping is very popular. There is no scientific backing for cupping. Like, they don't know. Well, I shouldn't say that. They don't know how cupping works, why it works, right? There's no science for why it should work that we know of, at least, right? They haven't found any yet, if it does exist. But what Justin said was, he's like, I include it in my repertoire, not because I feel like it's science-backed, and Justin is very science-oriented, right? But he said, but because people who do cupping tend to enjoy it, it feels good, and they feel better later. So by what mechanism, we're not 100% sure. Is it actually doing anything? We're not 100% sure, but what we do know is that people feel better from it, and that's half the battle. So I think I talked about this earlier when I was lifting weights. Why do I do these boots? Do I believe that there's this huge scientific rationale or anything? I don't. I really don't. But they force me to sit down on the ground, force me to relax, right? My heart rate, my general stress drops when I'm using these. It feels good, and it helps me feel better the next day. So, you know, that's my review on them. Are they worth the price? Probably not for the name brand ones. That's the reality. I have the Normatec ones from Hyperice. They are expensive, and I used HSA funds to be able to get them. So if you have a good HSA plan at work, maybe that's something that you consider using them on. But like, are they worth the cost? Probably not, right? Are they giving that crazy intervention? Probably not. However, if you can find a cheaper version, which there are plenty out there on the market, are they going to help you be more conscious of your recovery? Are they going to help you relax at some point and bring your stress levels down during the day? Because stress is stress. And if that answer is yes, then a modality or an intervention like compression boots, as well as a TENS unit, right, may be worth an investment for you. But I'm not going to tell you that it's like this miracle thing that's making me run faster, but it does make me feel good. So I hope that helps.
Good morning, everybody. It is 5:30 a.m. and I'm about to hit my run. I figured, hey, why not use the day to show kind of a day in the life? So usually when I've tried to do these things, I just forget halfway through the day to still record stuff. And so I never get through the full day. So today I'm going to be doing my best to do that, to actually showcase what a day, and then today is a work from home day. So I'm going to do my best to showcase what that looks like for me.
All right. We're hurting. We'll see if we can hold this, but we're hurting. All right. That was 3 by 1 on, 1 off, 720, 635. Nailed the 635s. Was a little slow on the 720s. I think you'll see like 725s. All within the ranges that I want. But, whoo, that one hurt. That was one where I just kind of had to honestly get in my own head and just tell myself, hey, you know you can hit these paces, you know it's gonna hurt, you know it's gonna suck, but it's gonna suck more if you give up on yourself. So, I'm not a Goggins dude. I love his book, don't get me wrong, but I'm not a Goggins dude. I think that the mindset that Goggins preaches ends up getting more newish runners hurt. But to his credit, I also think it's gotten, you know, a lot of freaking runners into running. So there's credit there too that's due, right? And his book is a phenomenal read. But it's just like, look, at the end of the day, if paces are out of your range, trying to hit them
it's just gonna break you down more than it'll build you up, right? The goal is not to show up with to your race with a broken foot and then finish, be like, hell yeah, I finished that even though I broke my foot. The point is to be able to do it and enjoy it. And yes, do hard things. Hard things are good, right? But you don't have to beat yourself into the freaking ground every single day. There should be variation in your life. And frankly, Goggins has a ton of variation in his training. I think a lot of people just choose to ignore that. So, all right, workout done. Just hit the cool down. It's 7:06. We're gonna go inside and grab my son, get him up for school, and then I gotta make him some breakfast and rinse off to go drop him off.
All right, got my butt kicked. We did the good thing is we haven't missed a workout. We're on week 3 of marathon training, and so I'd be a little concerned if I had failed workouts yet, or already. So I haven't failed any workouts, but I think the ones I'm going to fail transparently are gonna be kind of these longer, grindier sessions with no rest. My body responds well to short, fast with rest in between. I'm able to kind of gut through and get it done. If I have some rest, but it's harder for me when I just have to slow, right? Like my legs don't like to just slow down. So I think because of that, though, those workouts are really good for me. Now, anyway, back to my regularly scheduled day. It's like 7:05. I'm gonna run upstairs in like 2 seconds to wake up my son. But I am just packing his lunch now. So, I've been criticized by people before on here, kind of thinking that I leave everything to my wife, but I actually handle pickup and drop off, or I handle drop off. I make his lunch every day. If I could pick him up, I would, but I actually come home from the office early most days that I'm in office. And I do that so that I can be here so my wife can leave our youngest to nap, because of course pickup for my kids from school is during my daughter's nap time. And usually it's a time of day when if I have meetings, they're internal. So if like my daughter wakes up, I don't love it, but I can just like quickly put on a show or something until my wife gets back. So, but yeah, lunch is prepped and packed. I pack it the night before just to save some time. I'm gonna put it in his bag and then get him he's not a big eater in the morning, which I get. I'm really not either. So I usually just get him like a bagel with some peanut butter or something. And then maybe a little fruit. But all right, let's get that going and then we'll go get my son up and then we got a shower. It's not an office day, so I'll just drop him off and then come back home.
All right, it is about 8 o'clock, just about to hop onto my computer. I just dropped my son off. And one of the reasons I love work from home days is I'm just gonna work from the floor and I'm gonna wear my boots. Been using these a lot lately and I do feel like it's helping. I've had a little bit of irritation on my heel, kind of like the inner heel right there. And I think it's probably some variation of plantar fasciitis. And so I am just doing little things to try and help relax, recover. All right, so we're still doing meetings. It's about 10:30. I did about an hour on the floor in the boots. Legs felt good. And then, yeah, I'm just at my computer at my desk. I went downstairs really quick. And because I had only had like a carb protein mix for breakfast so far, I made myself a little power cup muffin. These things are pretty awesome. You just put it in some water and you mix it up and microwave for 60 seconds and then you get like a little muffin, which, 40 grams of carbs, 12 grams of protein, not bad. Especially when I'm marathon training or in big training blocks, it is difficult to get the amount of carbs, honestly, that I need sometimes. And so things like this make it really nice. I also just do a smoothie. It's berries, banana, greens, milk, just blend it up.
I'm being honest, it's not the best tasting thing in the world, but if I don't do stuff like this, I forget a lot of times to like get the greens or get the fruit in and everything, because it's, you know, you got to be conscious of it.
I've got a break now, and I am about to head down to the garage gym to get a lift in. Lift should only take about probably like half an hour, and then I've got a 3 o'clock meeting, so got to be pretty quick. I haven't eaten lunch yet, and this unfortunately is common that I get in the zone and end up getting stuff done and forgetting to eat lunch, and then get my lift in a little bit hungry. But it's probably better than, I mean, I don't like to work out on a full stomach, so it's kind of a weird spot, but I'll finish this, grab some food. We've got some leftovers in the fridge that I'll just warm up, and then I'll hop on that call at 3 and probably just eat while on that call, so it'll work out. All right, perfect timing. That was about 37 minutes. My meeting starts in 3 minutes, so we got perfect time. Gonna run upstairs, gonna do the meeting. Then I'm gonna have a late lunch, unfortunately. Like I said, it's something I struggle with. I need to eat earlier. Sometimes, you know, you just get focused on work, falls through the cracks. So it is what it is, but we're gonna get some food in for sure today. Right, it's about 5:30. I just rinsed off to finish off the work day because I didn't shower after my lift. And yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit of family time, but then my son has basketball, so we're headed that way. Saturday morning, it's about 7 a.m. My wife said it was chill if I went a little bit later on my long run again today, just because we don't have early morning plans. So got a little bit of extra sleep, which was much needed. It's looking cold outside. It's about 30 degrees. That is colder than it said last night, so we'll see how this goes. I am wearing half tights, and so we'll see. Originally I thought I was gonna end up shedding the top layer, but I might end up keeping it on. All right, so we've got 15 today. It's 6 easy. Then I think like 0.5 at 6:40. Then 3.5 at 7:40. 0.5 at 6:40. And then like 4.5 easy to finish out. So 10.5 easy. 4.5 like tempo. Should be fine. It's way colder than I thought it would be, but in some ways that's a good thing. All right, I'm on the tempo section of the run, feeling good. About 7.5 miles in, halfway. All right, that was 10.5 total miles. 4.5 left is just cool down, conversation pace, home stretch. So I'll admit the 625, it was 625 hot spots, not 650. So the 625 for half a mile, 740, 3.5, 6.5, or 625 for 0.5 with 6 miles on the front, 4.5 on the back. The 740s felt chill. The 625, that one hurt some. Just under 2 miles left. Body's feeling good, but mentally, I feel like you get down to these last few miles and you just like the body's like, oh, we're done. It's like, no. You almost have to trick it and say like, I'm running 17, not 15. So then you finish 15 and you feel amazing. All right, there it is, 15 miles, 8:12 pace for the entirety. We went 6 miles, conversational, kind of easy warm up. 6:25 for half mile, 7:40. I think I averaged about 7:30 though for 3.5 miles. 6:25 for a quarter mile, and then 4.5 miles where we just chilled. and brought it home. Overall, week has been good. I definitely need more sleep. I'm well aware of that. It's hard. My youngest is no longer in a crib. She's now in a day bed, and that means she's not sleeping. And my middle child has decided that, you know, she should read books until about midnight. And so I'm constantly having to go in there to try and get her to go to sleep so that I can go to sleep and not have them stay up all night, because they will stay up all night. Unfortunately or fortunately, my kids have my brain, which means it's hard to shut them off. So it is what it is, but sleep is definitely the biggest performance enhancer that I could add right now. And then nutrition, when I don't sleep and I'm tired, kind of burnt out, my nutrition suffers because I go for quick, easy calories as opposed to nutrient dense foods. So sleep and nutrition was not great this week. It is what it is. But the week as a whole, 55 miles, I think like 7 hours, 40 minutes, but whew, we're good to go. Anyway, Super Prototype Elites. The Prototype Elites, these are clearly higher stack than the Prototype Pure. Clearly, like it's not even a question in my mind. They are a little bit heavier, but they're not heavy. They're just not quite as nimble, but for a run like today where I need a little more cushion underfoot, like for the marathon, this is what I was saying. I think the Pure might be maybe a 5K race shoe, and that the Elite might be the marathon shoe, and then the Pro is kind of step down, less aggressive marathon shoe. And we'll see, but that's kind of how I'm feeling about the shoes. I like them. I think I'll find out December 2nd or 3rd kind of what's going on with the shoes. So anyway, I'm headed to TRE in about 2 weeks, December 2nd through the 4th, where I will be meeting. I have meetings scheduled with literally every major running brand, plus some smaller brands, which I'm kind of excited to explore. But let me know in the comments, like what kind of questions you guys have for the brands, for the product managers, right? Like I'm going to be interviewing and talking to a lot of product managers. There's going to be a ton under embargo, obviously, but there's going to be some stuff that I'll get some good coverage on. I want to interview and kind of get an idea of the direction of brands, see where they're going. So drop me some questions that if you want to see your questions asked interviewing product managers, drop them below, and we will see what kind of content we can grab here in a few weeks. But overall, feeling good, ready to get to the rest of my Saturday. Hope you guys have a good week as well.